You know, I meet people all over the world. I have so much fun. I have so much fun with people around the world. And this morning I made a big mistake. The first people I had on my tram, I didn't see them real good, and I thought they were speaking Spanish inside. So I said, "Buenos dias." They looked at me, turned their head, and they didn't know what they were talking about. Well, I found out he was from Egypt. So, you know, you never know. So there are some people today who are from Egypt who are on plantation, and I've had them from everywhere in the world, but I actually like meeting people. Sometimes I don't communicate as well as I could. But anyway, as we go through the woods today, there's a lot of beautiful things here, and along the river. If you want to find wildlife, the Indians, American Indian know, if you want to find wildlife, go to the river. That's where the water source is. That's where animals are. If you go to the south, check out some of the names. I'm going to give you a few of them you may hear in your travels, like the Florida Seminoles, and the Cherokee, and the Creek, and the Choctaw, the Nessus, the Shawnee, the Chickasaw, the Mississippi Tribe, the Tuscarora, the Chickamauga, Okanee, Okefenokee, the Chattahoochee, Ashepoo, Combahee, Edisto, Tividu, the Catawba Tribe, the Pee Dee, the Waccamaw, the Coney, the Kiowa, West Oshikoshee, Congaree, Sangaree, Mandawa, the Waccamaw, the Chicora, Stono, Laxhaw, Flathead, the Kershaw, the Wassamasa, the Wadball, the Congaree, the Dahoo, just to name a few. Well, over here we've got a chicken, looks like a chicken, and a turtle, a couple chickens and a turtle. Right here, these are actually gallinules, or common moorhen, they call them. Now the blackbird sitting on the limb that's 45 degrees out, that's actually a snakebird right here. We've got a little heron up here, probably going to turn into a little blue heron probably someday, just a little bit. Actually, they start off yellow, white, and they turn blue. And then the next one over, past this heron, is a nest. And there's usually a heron sitting in there, and when they lay up, it does look like a limb. It's actually a female great blue heron up there. So this is Bubba's Pond. He's the big alligator, the 12-footer I showed me cut on my book, Seasonal Wildlife. I pet him on the tail. Every 3 years, Mama alligator mates. And she has some babies, and Labor Day takes on a whole new meaning as Mama alligator is going to give birth to about 40 or 50 baby alligators. Look like this alligator to the left. This fellow is to the right. This fellow is about 6 years old. Now, about 6 years ago, this little alligator to the right was sitting on there in Mama's mouth, on top of her jaw, on top of her head, and she lays her head on one side of the pond and tail touches the other. She carries the little baby alligators in her mouth across the pond and on top of her upper jaw. And she carries them back and forth, and she blocks off that ditch just like your intail pool. You just block it off like a little playpool for kids. Now she'll have 40 or 45 baby alligators at a time, and Labor Day takes on a whole new meaning. She's born around Labor Day. So she'll watch them and protect them, even though she can bite at 2,000 to 3,000 pounds a square inch on the teeth points. So put them in her mouth on top of her head. Now I say Mama alligator. I know it's Father's Day weekend, but I have to talk a little bit about Mama because their Mama in nature is so marvelous, so wonderful. It can't be, just can't be duplicated. Now, Mama wood duck will take the little baby wood ducks, and in the nest, in the wood duck boxes that we make in the swamp, you think that would be fine. They've got a nice little wood box for the swamp on waterfront property, and living along the swamp right in there, and then all of a sudden, Mama says, I can do better than that. She gets some pine needles and makes a real nice nest. Then she takes some leaves and crushes them up. Makes it even better. What could be better than that? Then Mama does something else. And I've always said, the greatest love is sacrificial. She will take her head and turn it around, and she'll pluck out the feathers from under her wings and on her back, and she'll lie in the little nest for the little, I call woodies, little baby wood ducks. And she'll make it just like a down comforter. She'll make it very comfortable for little birds. So anyway, that's what they do. The bird called seal deer. I was watching, they had a video at the water plant. They video everything all the time. They said, Dick, you've never seen this video. And I said, well, I see here in the video, it was taken last night. I said, what I see is a mama kill deer, and they do build their nest right on the ground. Right on the ground. That's not the biggest place to have a nest. And I had put out some orange traffic cones to make sure that the people cut grass. Don't run over the nest. 4 little babies peeping and cheeping in that nest. Here comes about 6 o'clock in the evening came a bobcat, 25, 30 feet away. And the bobcat started stalking the mama and the babies. Before it got to the nest, Mama Killdeer stepped out of the nest, and she took step by step, inch by inch, dragging, actually, 2 steps out of the nest, she started dragging her wing like it was broken, and her leg was broken, and she drug her left wing and her left leg and was dragging it and struggling, trying to get away, it looked like. The bobcat, at one time, starts sneaking up 25 feet, 20 feet, 15 feet. And when Mom had actually got her body away from the nest, about 20 feet from the nest, and the bobcat was ready to pounce on her, she went off in flight, flew away. There was nothing wrong with her at all. It was all a big act. But yet, if necessary, she would have sacrificed her own life to protect the children. That's how Mama is in nature. You can't replicate it, you can't emulate it, you can't duplicate it, you can't substitute it. The mama's love. That's what mamas have for babies. I tell you what, that's a great thing to watch. Now out here, we have a time, and I mentioned there were little kids sitting under mama's wing, so to speak. We were visited by Hurricane Hugo in 1989. September 22nd, a Category 4 hurricane with sustained wind speeds of 135 to 140 mile-an-hour winds. What happens with 135 and 140 mile-an-hour winds? I'm about to tell you, that's continuous winds. It will take the bark right off of the tree. It'll peel like a banana. We had entire forests that looked like telephone poles. Looked like a forest mile down in Shaw Marsh. There were no leaves in trees, there was no moss in the trees, we couldn't find the trails. 40% of the timberland area in the entire state was damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Hugo. $6 billion worth of damage in South Carolina alone. My friend told me they got so windy that one of the chickens in the hen house laid the same egg 3 times. That's hard to believe, but that's his story. He sticks to it. Old Man River in life, I'll tell you what, life, have yourself a goal, have yourself a purpose. Don't give up, don't go left, don't go right. You keep rolling right on. The Ashley River did that. 9 years after Hurricane Hugo, this Ashley River became the first scenic river in the low country of South Carolina. You aim for the stars, and if you only land on the moon, you still went a very, very long way. The Ashley River today, they got the speedboats and the water skiers and the jet skis and everything, and tubing and all that. But when I count 37 alligators in one pond and one pass, we call that trolling for gators here on plantation. So we're coming right, we're coming up to Gator Lake. I hope you can see something as we go around. But it's warm in the middle of the day, so the alligators are probably getting in the water. Oh, there was a slider turtle over the side. And let's see if there's some real close to shore right here. Watch the alligators close to shore. Because they like to get on the ramp, but they'll get in with the wind coming from the south, blowing right up against the cattails. It would be a good thing for the alligators to lay right in here. The kids can see the slider turtle, yellow-bellied slider turtle on the log to the right. You find out his legs are sticking out. That's what I call turtle surfing. I call that hanging 10. And that's the way they get a little cool air under the hood. That breeze feels good to the south, and maybe southeast breeze. Now, if you're a fisherman, you watch for the wind, because the wind's from the west, the fish bite the best. Now, the winds from the east, they bite the least. The wind from the south blows the bait right in the mouth, and the winds from the north, we just watch fishing on TV. That's just the way it works. Now, halfway between that turtle and us is in the water. There's the head of an alligator. It's about 3.5 foot long. You see just the eye and the nose. And we're going to see a couple of yellow-bellied slider turtles. It's follow the leader here, going up the ramp. That's little Greg Lugonis and the swimming coach getting ready for a 1 meter dive the other day. These ramps in the winter months, the alligators come out here, they stay on top of each other, they stack up like pancakes on a Minnesota breakfast table. In the summer months, they go deep, they go down, but we're hoping to see some as we go along. But they also come out on dry land, crossing the road from one pond to the other, or laying on the road, backing out the tubes to watch for that to go around. Fairfield Pond, 2 to 4 feet deep, freshwater, largemouth bass, salmon, catfish. For the seafood lover, go to the left. That's brackish water. Partly salt, partly fresh, starting to turn fresh. In a drought, when you're in a drought, that means more salt water comes farther up the river. And you don't have that fresh water to with it. So it becomes more salty. So we get up here, we get porpoise, or dolphin up in here. And the tide's still pretty high right now. At low tide, you'll see the fluff mud. And that fluff mud is kind of stuff like sticky quicksand. You go up to your waist, and that's about all. But you have to have somebody pull you out. I rescued a number of people. I've been rescued myself out of fluff mud with a boat paddle. Got some turtle doves up here. As I go around today, if you're from the West Coast or from west of the Mississippi, I will try to point out some cardinals for you. I had a group of 48 people from Oregon. They took a bus tour from Oregon, come down here. I took them on a nature train, and I thought they were going to say something about the snake I caught or the alligator or something. They were talking about the cardinal. They'd never seen them in real life. Nobody on that whole train from Oregon had ever seen a cardinal. A lot of one shows that they don't reside west of Mississippi. Here's the alligator crossing to the left. Look at the sand. You can see where the alligators drug their tail back and forth in and out of the pond in the river. Should an alligator come on your aisle, lift up your legs, come on through, try not to hit something. Jet skis out today. To my left, we've got a great neighborhood. It's fishing. Beautiful white birds. And they know that fish come in and out. They come in and out right in here. It's real close to shoreline, so it's waiting for that. Also have to be careful because I'm not sure what it is floating around over there, straight out. But this vegetation, I guess. We do get big alligators that come out here up to 14 feet long in and out of the pond here. We'll watch as we go along. We get a lot of red-winged blackbirds out here. The other day I had a 14-inch catfish right in the middle of the road. Here's this catfish. You wonder how the world catfish got there. And once I found the catfish, I picked it up. It was still alive, flipping around. There's a gallinule or common moorhen right there. This little bird. Feeds like a chicken, walks like a chicken, makes noises like a chicken, but wants to be a duck, so it's going to be a duck. Gallinule or common moorhen. The catfish had actually had a couple of holes in its back where an osprey had it with his claws. The osprey can grab a hold of its prey, the fish, 700 pounds per square inch grip on the fish. Now we've had 3 times out here. Now here's a female anhinga or snake bird. To our right, the female has the brown neck and head. When it's in the water, you see just the neck and the head. It stretches way out, maybe 12, 15 inches. Looks like a snake walking on his tail. When it's out of the water, it'll spread its wings out like Batman. That's how it draws its wings. It dries its wings. We do get in the afternoon, we get from time to time alligators crossing the road back and forth here, and I've walked a few up across the road to help them get back in the water. Bald eagles, and by the way, the catfish was dropped by an osprey. The osprey was attacked by another osprey. We've had 3 times that ospreys have attacked another osprey, and they dropped the osprey right on, almost on visitors here. There's some Japanese honeysuckle, that yellow and white flower, very, very fragrant. That's honeysuckle. Bald eagle sat high in the pine trees. This morning I had a 10-foot alligator laying on that board. It's moved off now. Somewhere in the water, they can stay down for 2 hours at a time. If we had the visions of a bald eagle, we could read the headlines of a newspaper a quarter of a mile away. Now notice the cattails. You can see where the big gators have been laying down and moving and knocked over the weeds and cattails. Over to the right, we'll notice those cattails are fuzzed up and dried up. Over to the right, that's where actually World War II, a guy told me. You can see the clarity of the water. It's pretty crystal clear here to the left. He actually told me, World War II, this gentleman told me that when he was a junior in high school in World War II, he's about 80-some years of age, he said the United States Navy came to their school. They asked the school if they could have the students gather up some cattails for with a little more effort. Well, they gathered up the cattails, and then they asked them, why did they